Hey gals, so today's topic is going to be about emotional intelligence. So I know there's like a ton of content out there about what emotional intelligence is, and we keep being told how important emotional intelligence is in order for us to be successful at our careers. So this is a very strong topic for me. I love emotional intelligence. The reason I relate to it so much is as a child myself, and even all growing up, even through college, I suffered from being extremely oversensitive. I was so sensitive to a point where I was terribly shy. I would never ever consider speaking up in situations and asking for things or giving my opinion on things. And it was really hard, and I don't really know what made me like this. I have a twin sister, and my twin were identical, and she was the opposite of me. She was the one that was very outgoing. So sometimes I wonder if it had something to do with the fact that she was so outgoing and she was always told that she was the outgoing twin, that it kept validating to me that I was the shy, sensitive twin, and it definitely gave me a complex growing up. And I would cry at the drop of a hat. Anything that, if you looked at me wrong, I would cry. If I heard that you didn't like me, I would cry. I was just extremely sensitive, and my dad used to tell me all the time, "My God, stop being so sensitive, Jen. Stop. Stop crying. Why are you crying?" And I hated it. So as I started getting older and throughout high school, I learned to really hide my sensitivity. I overcompensated in an unhealthy way by making sure that, I would go and always cry by myself. I would never let people see me cry because I never wanted someone to tell me that I was too sensitive. And I would also, try to overcompensate by going out of my way to be on camera. I did the morning TV show in high school. I was editor of my newspaper. I was always trying to get myself in front of people because I never wanted people to think that I was shy. It's just something, I think it's common with a lot of us to overcompensate in that way. And I cared so much what people thought that the idea of people thinking that I was shy or that I couldn't get up and do a public presentation, I wanted to always prove them wrong. And ironically enough, diving into so much video and being on camera and having that exposure actually led me to majoring in, I was going to do broadcast journalism at college, and I ended up changing to journalism and communications, but it actually drove me to doing what I do, and then drove me into becoming a trainer myself, because I just started, to this day, I still get very nervous being in front of people and being on camera, but it helped drive me into embracing things that I wasn't so good at. And it helped my emotional intelligence a lot. And since then, other things have really, once you hit rock bottom when it comes to your emotional intelligence, so you have a situation that happens to you that's devastating to you, it's a great tool for you to later on use to get yourself back up and out of it. So I want to help you guys the way I've learned to help compensate when it comes to emotions. And if you are that emotional person, if you do cry easily or get angry easily, I want to be able to start doing these emotional intelligence courses to help you. And we offer these online, but I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of perspective on it as just to give you some content right away. And that is something I call the Saber Tooth Tiger. So basically, if you guys want to start understanding emotional intelligence, the first thing you have to do is you have to understand where the idea of emotional intelligence comes from. And one concept people use is the saber-toothed tiger. So basically our brains are wired. So back when in the caveman days, when we saw something that put us in a life or death situation, it immediately triggered our amygdala. It didn't have to, the concept didn't have to go through our pre-cortex and our brain, our rational part of our brain, to process it, because that took too much time. Our brains learn for survival to immediately take that threat and do a fight or flight syndrome, and to make us take action right away so that we wouldn't get eaten by the saber-toothed tigers. And that is something that helped us as human beings to evolve. Well, unfortunately, our brains still work that way. And what we think in today's modern world, what we think are saber-toothed tigers, typically are not saber-toothed tigers at all. We think they are, and our brain immediately reacts and processes it to the amygdala so that we can react and do something quickly. So to get upset or to get angry or to lash out at somebody or to go into a hole, it's just whatever your natural reaction is, your brain is wired to do that now. And so what we need to realize is that there are very few saber-toothed tigers in this world, guys. And we need to learn, and that's what I do. I teach people how to adopt steps of mindfulness to recognize when they are looking at a saber-toothed tiger in disguise, and to be able to pull that mask off and to realize that it's not a saber-toothed tiger and it's not the end of the world and it's not going to be detrimental to everything that I care about and yada yada. So you have to realize that there's a lot of techniques to help train your brain to start processing things rationally instead of immediately reacting to things that you don't need to. That way you can save those life or death situations for reaction for times when you really do need them and you need that adrenaline. Another good example that we use for this in the office a lot is the emails. When someone sends you a very snarky email and you immediately, your adrenaline surges, your cortisol levels raise, you're getting stressed, and you're so angry. It is a saber-toothed tiger and it is getting ready to eat your head off. And if you don't respond with an equally as nasty email, you're done for. So you immediately start typing that email up and you shoot it out. And most of you guys, if you did unfortunately end up sending it out when you were angry, which you should never do, you might the next morning come in, the concept has had time now to go process through the rational part of your brain. And now you look at that email that you sent and you're probably going to be appalled. You're probably going to be sending another email to apologize to the person, or you're just going to feel really bad. Two wrongs don't make a right. So it's kind of like shame on me, and you realize that you shouldn't have sent that, and you're usually backpedaling. So that's a really good example of you guys realizing how quick our amygdala works, how quick our emotions react to things, and how that is our fight or flight. That is our saber-toothed tiger, and that we have very few saber-toothed tigers. I promise you that. There's very few things that are life or death situations in your day-to-day, and that's a good thing. But we need to recognize it. So that's one thing that I do is I help you guys use tips and to do practices every day that helps you to get so much better at your reactions to things, and it will really increase your emotional intelligence. So those are my thoughts on the saber-toothed tiger phenomenon. And let me know, guys. Let me know if you need any help, if you want any more help or guidance to help you develop your emotional intelligence, because it is vital to your success. Have a great day.